These are pretty quick notes. They're for lessons 3.9 through 3.11. You're supposed to watch the videos on Delta Math, and then this is going to be a good notes page to keep in your binder so you can come back to these examples. So what we need to know is we have a unit circle, and we're only looking at the top half of it, which goes from 0 degrees, and this is 180 degrees. The equivalent in terms of pi is this would be 0 pi, and 180 degrees is a full pi. So they're using this half because we're dealing with a whole something. So it's a half a circle, but it's a full pi. And pi is called radians. So there's a difference. You're either in degrees or you're in radians, and that's why we have to be really careful with the mode on our calculator sometimes. But here's the relationship. Pi radians is equal to 180. This is called unit analysis. When you have something and you want to change it into another unit, what you do is you multiply by this ratio and you put the similar unit diagonal. So if this is 11 pi over 12, I would put my pi in the denominator so that the pi's can cancel out. And then we have 180 degrees on top. So this is my ratio, that 180 degrees is equal to pi. It's just the matter of which do I put on top, which do I put on bottom. So these would cancel out, and then I would just multiply straight across. And you should get 1980 on top divided by 12, which ends up being 165 degrees. Which makes sense. 11 twelfths is pretty close to being 12 twelfths or a whole. So we're getting closer and closer to being a 180. 165 is only 15 off of that. Okay, -3 radians. Don't worry so much about the negative, just worry about 3. So it could either have pi in it, or you can just say that it's that many radians and it has something to do with pi. So we would put 3, I'll put it over 1. Since this is radians, I'd still do times 180 over pi, even though there's not a pi there. And so we're actually going to take 3 times 180, which is 540, divided by pi. They're wanting us to get a rounded decimal, which would be 171.9 degrees, and it would still be negative, because negative tells us which direction we're going. Okay, the opposite of that is if we're starting with degrees and we want to turn it into radians, it's the same fraction, just flipped. So this would be like it's over 1. And then I would have my degrees be down here. Well, we said 180 degrees is the same thing as pi. Degrees cancel each other out, so we're taking 375. I don't want to multiply by pi. They're wanting pi to be part of your answer. Over 180, I'm going to take 375 divided by 180, which I know is going to be a decimal, hit math, and then fraction, enter, and it turns it into 25 twelfths. So this is the same thing as 25 pi over 12.